So yes. Oh, and yes, 15 minutes. Like, I want to reserve. Obviously, I want to reserve the last 15 minutes for questions if there's
Okay.
any on Vimeo. If not, we'll just keep talking.
All right, cool. No worries.
So yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us live. I'm Andrea Thompson. I'm the director and founder of the Film Girl Film Festival, happening mid-November, 13th through the 15th. And since you're just joining us, you get an insider's tip. We're actually about to expand it to a week, so you can have even more time to see all our films. And I actually have one of the filmmakers, one of our Milwaukee filmmakers here with me.
Yes.
Shalyse Dominique. She
Hi
directed
there.
Legal Threat.
Legal threat on deck. How y'all feeling? Shout out to the cast if you're watching.
Impolite audience, no
Yes,
response.
yes, no response.
We
How
went through all
now?
this last week. So, after watching your film Legal Threat, which is this action kind of conspiracy thriller,
Uh-huh.
one question comes to mind.
Yeah.
When did you work in an office and how much did it traumatize you? I mean,
Okay, wait. When did I work where?
in an office environment, and how
Oh
much
God.
did it traumatize
Are you? Could you tell?
Yes, I thought, wow, this person worked in an office and hated it.
Well, I wouldn't say I hated it.
Oh,
I just think that maybe I'm really analytical, so I pick up on all the little details. So I think that that's probably what you might have, got from it.
these little details wouldn't happen to be like microaggressions, would they?
Oh yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? I think the world is full of microaggressions. So there's a lot of passive aggressive people.
yes.
So
Yes, there's a lot of
yeah,
that
so
in
it's
office.
easy. People project a lot. So if you are a really observant person, such as I, you can kind of pick up on it. And so
You
it's,
pick
it's,
up on it all.
oh yes, I don't miss a lot, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
I
Yeah,
believe you, yeah.
Yeah.
That can be a curse.
this is true.
So what drew you to this genre, the horror crime thriller?
Well, it's refreshing, and I get bored quick. Really quick. So I like people, yeah. So I like people to wonder what's going to happen next. And, everybody's got like 3 or 4 different, devices on them at any given time. So, for me, I just think that, I wanted people to wonder, what was going to happen next. And, I also wanted people to have the freedom to think about it in their own way and digest it in their own way. Maybe, because everybody sees things differently. Everything is subjective. Art is subjective. So if you don't quite get maybe what I'm saying, maybe you might interpret things the other way. And there's a lot of different details in the film. I tried to do that while I was making things, and I was on set and props and, just to see maybe who would notice what. I think that's what I'm excited about.
I genuinely could not tell what happened next, especially when the woman got out the snake. I'm like, I really hope that doesn't bite you. Yes, there's a woman with a snake in this movie.
Yes,
and
shout out to Lawrence S. Chess, because when he came on deck, that was actually his idea. And it fit perfectly with everything that was going on. And shout out to Rebecca Burr, too.
Your main character is also an addict. Why did you decide to make your main character like?
Because I actually am a child of addiction, and I think that it was imperative to kind of like touch on that narrative a little bit. And I think that a lot of people have problems with addiction, and even if you don't necessarily capitulate to that, as being a child of addiction, you have some sort of addictive personality traits, and I wanted to kind of humanize, the experience, and of the addict, and also show how self-involved that they can be, like where I think they really don't necessarily look at what's going on until they can't get what they need, and then they have a moment of clarity. So I think that was easy to kind of intertwine with the story of him having to look at something when he didn't have a choice anymore. Because I think that's what happens with people who are addicted to anything. You can be addicted to a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be drugs,
Conspiracy time.
Yes.
Or say,
Or
we're not obsessed with film at all, right? We
Yeah.
can talk about it.
Right. There you go. Right. The junkie itch. Right.
Yeah, and your film was obviously filmed at various locations around Milwaukee.
Yes.
Did you have a favorite location?
Uh, there were a lot, but I liked where Mrs. Lord's Killingsworth. I liked that. The guy who let us do it passed away during post production. I forget how to say his last name, but they're a pretty prominent Italian family in Milwaukee. They do a lot of catering and stuff, and I really like that place a lot. But I'd have to shout out. We did a lot with the 250 East building, and I really think we were there entirely too much. And shout out to Larry Gray, he was security. I mean, I literally could have broke out like a trunnel bed. Like we were there. I went there at least like 20 times. It was ridiculous. Yeah, early in the morning. I mean, yeah. So I would say the office was kind of like. I mean, we ended up shooting there a lot, exteriorly and interiorly. Yeah.
And you've worked on a lot of things actually, like not just local film, right? But MTV and a film called
Operandi.
Operandi.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually love music and I compose music, so I was able to place some of my work with MTV and some of their, reality stuff. And yeah, I was actually, my mom and I, we have along with Jamal Cannon, who's a local artist, and also he's does a lot with the community. We started Reign Supreme Entertainment, so we helped a lot of people, produce film. I guess that's how I was able to do this on my own. I don't think that if I went through all the things that I had went through, I don't think I'd have been able to do everything that I did. So yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee seems to be good for that.
Oh yeah, it will rake you through. You'll learn how not to make a film. You will learn how to make a film. You will learn who not to work with.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for this platform. You're supporting women. That's like really imperative because if you are uncompromising and you are a woman, it's a grind, and I welcome it. It's a grind. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for joining us and for making the film.
Oh, no worries.
It's not ended yet. It's not ended yet.
Yeah.
On that note, as much as I'm sure we both love and appreciate Milwaukee, like we also agree that it has its problems. Like it's very segregated.
Yes.
Racism.
True.
So, what do you think the film community and the greater Milwaukee community can do to kind of improve on that?
Grow a pair. Grow a pair. Straight up, really. Women, and women need to take onus and responsibility and grow up. You have to work to get to where you want to be. There's no shortcuts. And if people earn respect, give it to them. I think that's the thing, especially with women. If a woman is earning her respect, give it to her. She shouldn't have to fight for it. And so I think that a lot of times you put on your friends, and because women can be so catty, there's like a pinhole there, And when it comes to the film industry and the music industry, people put on their friends, And if a woman, has to do all of this, crazy stuff and still doesn't really get to where she wants to be, then that's a problem. So grow a pair and take onus and respect yourself, and you got to work for it. I do think that there needs to be some sort of I don't want to say organization because I'm not a real big tea and crumpets person. Let's meet here at this time and let's do this. But there definitely needs to be something for women, and then women of color, people of color, because I like to make films that take you somewhere else, and I feel like because I'm melanated, people expect me to make something other than. So when I came to make this film, and I actually finally got it done, I kind of felt like people looked at it and like they didn't, it was nowhere for them, for their mind, for them to categorize it. And that's another thing. I hate categories. I hate it. I feel like you should be able to make what you want to make, and I feel like entertainment is supposed to take you somewhere. It's supposed to be a journey in that and some kind of joy in that, and I feel like that's what's missing. So as far as you know, yeah, Milwaukee is concerned, I think that there's this intrinsic thing, you know, that goes deeper than just the art community, where it's like this crab in the barrel type thing, or people like we've invested and had talent come here who are, you know, have notable resumes, and it's like this thing happens and it comes over people and they don't have this loyalty to each other to say, hey, you know, yeah, this person may have a resume, this person may have this, but you know, we've been working together for this long, and let's build something. And I think that that's another problem, that there's not that, you know, people get into this frenzy and then they, you know, there's just not that loyalty there, and things don't get complete, you know, or people kind of disband and then, you know, things don't get done, or, you know.
Yeah, I've noticed that's one of Milwaukee's faults. Well, there are a lot of people, it seems, that you don't have to jump through as much paperwork as it were.
Right.
There are a lot of smaller places that will do a great deal for you here,
Right.
like this film festival.
Right.
I had a lot of help, and a lot of people like came out to help me in a way that I just would have had. I just don't think I could have built this from the ground up without like more of a structure, frankly, elsewhere.
Right.
But also, I found that some people in the arts community seem very interested in like clinging to the ground that they managed to carve out for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, not a lot of, you know, sharing or, you know, it's like a cold kind of, even if you help people, like we literally paid to help people if you really think about it. And we still didn't get, you know, the respect that we earned, you know?
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee, it's like you literally, if you're a producer, you know, that's how it started. Like at first it was like I just wanted to finish a film.
Yeah,
you know?
wore a lot of hats during this film. You were a producer,
Yeah.
director. Were you also the writer? And,
Yeah.
and a cinematographer?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I did a lot of research on what I wanted to use, to the tools to make the film. And I had an interview with this guy, Andy Spreco, and shout out to him. And he came on deck and he helped for a day. And he did a lot of like work on like, you know, Hollywood films. And after that, he didn't come back. So yeah, from that point on, it was me, and basically a lot of the times I spent with the lead, Aaron Sabilla, John Luke Barker. So yeah, so you know, just picked it up and just never put it down. So I miss it. I actually miss filming. Yeah, I didn't think I would like it that much, being like a DP and actually filming, but I actually like it a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, and yeah, I think I want to take this opportunity to shout out. This isn't a Milwaukee organization, but I did discover them in Chicago, and they are called Mezcla. They are specifically for female filmmakers of color, and they provide a lot of support. Every now and then they have, well, they did have meetings in Chicago, but obviously those have mostly been stopped. So I want to shout that out. Like, I wish I knew a Milwaukee organization to shout out for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying to draw attention to that when I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something else I want to shout out. Oh yes, and also a friend of mine is starting a diversity push. Start with ThreaT Hollywood, where they assign female filmmakers mentorships and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, I wish I knew people. I'm sure there are people in Milwaukee who are working toward that, but yeah, that's the ones I know.
Awesome.
Huh. And yeah, we actually covered a lot of my questions. So when you were talking about when you were shooting, when you were making this film, what films do you think influenced you the most?
You know, I can't really pinpoint one particular film, but I'm a big fan of all of the stuff from like the 80s and the 90s, the sci-fi. I like Kenneth Johnson a lot. You know, things that have to do with people coming together and, you know, working towards one, you know, like goal, you know, those
Even
things.
if it involves big guns like in this movie.
Right. So I guess subconsciously, you know, kind of worked its way in my narrative, you know. So yeah.
Any like specific films that we should check out
Um,
to like
you-
psych ourselves up for your film? Do you think?
you know what? Netflix has the Terminator on. No, not the Terminator. Total Recall. Total
Oh.
Recall's been on Netflix. I don't know if y'all been watching that, but I mean, I like that movie. I like
Oh,
Total
yeah.
Recall.
I can see
I
that.
like those movies like that. Terminator. I mean, back in the day, like they didn't have the technology, but they did have like the creative. A process was homegrown, and it was so much time put into what they were doing that it just stands the test of time. And I really like stuff like in camera. Like for the first time, I saw the Space Odyssey movie while I was making this movie, and I was almost done. And the fact that it was like in camera was just like so lit. And I was like, man, if I ever get a chance to do something where I have like a chunk of change, I'm definitely going all in with the in camera. Like everything should be like in camera, because I think that really stands the test of time. You look at certain things, and now it's like, I had to do like visual and comp work on this film, but what I really tried to do was try to make it look organic to the palette that I was working on, and not try to make it look something other than what it was supposed to be, or make it be all grandiose. And at least so then it wouldn't look all cheesy later, because you have big budget films that if you look back at them like 20 years, they look cheesy, and it's because they just did too much. Even so, I feel like if you go back and look at TV that was sci-fi from the 70s all the way up to like the 90s, and especially Kenneth Johnson, if you Google him, he did like stuff like old shows like Bionic Woman and like Incredible Hulk. The actual like comp work and all that stuff may look cheesy, but at the end of the day, the work stands the test of time because it was good stories and it was good filmmaking.
Definitely.
Yeah, so and I actually had a correspondence with him a couple of times, and he was cool.
Nice. Since we have to wrap up here, what is next for you
Well, I have a lot of ideas.
besides the Film Girl Film Festival?
Right, this is true. And I can't wait to know like what time and date that we're actually going to show it, so that I know, what's up. But I have
A
a
story
lot
for
of
another live stream.
Yes, I have a lot of ideas, and like this film, what I did is I asked the actors to kind of keep everything on the low until we actually got into the thick of filming. And then when we got into the thick of filming, then I said, okay, here are some stills, let it loose. So I don't really like to say too much, but I'll be excited to get, back to work and filming and all that kind of stuff. But I will say this, it's going to have a lot to do with music this time around.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's all you
gotta
can
love
say?
it.
My puppy dog eyes never work. Never. Oh yes, we still have a few more minutes. So also, last question, I think. Can you trust anyone?
Well, I'll let you, I'll let you guys figure that one out,
Oh yes, and congratulations on getting Mark Borchardt in this film.
Oh, yes.
Such a Milwaukee institution.
Oh, he really is, and he is all the way live. He's everything that he appears to be, very humble, and I love working with Mark. He's a good person.
So funny that he plays like a journalist in here who's firmly on the side of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's like, we will not.
Yeah, I just was determined to get him in, and I reached out to him a couple of times, and then he got back to me, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this works, because it was important for me to kind of like drive home that monotony there, and I said it would be perfect to kind of get him in there. Yeah.
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 Plus, Milwaukeeans are going to run to any film that stars him, and rightly so.
There you go.
Rightly so. Oh, I'm breaking the fourth wall here right now, but since it's almost 2:30, should we? All right. Thank you so much for talking with me.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having us, and thank you for choosing Legal Threat to appear in your film festival, and thank you for what you're doing for women in film.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and shout out to everybody who's watching Cast Legal Threat.
Sorry, what? I actually. Okay, hello again. Once again, I'm Andrea Thompson, founder of the Film Girl Film Festival, November 13th through the 15th, but yes, we're going to expand to a week. So, and right here, I'm happy to have Robin Ehrlich, for the director of the short film, A Period Piece. Yes, it's Halloween, and we're going to discuss the greatest horror of all, menstruation. So yeah, your film, yeah, your film is fascinating, I have to say, because yeah, it's something we don't really like to talk about. We don't even know how to advertise. We don't know how to like view it in our daily life. And yeah, your film starts out, it really makes us rethink how we see women in horror, how we see bodies in horror, and how we look at blood. Because at first we're seeing the women in your film how we're used to seeing women in horror, running, they're all bloody, running through the house screaming, and then you come to find out it's meant to be menstrual blood. Yes. So that was a hilarious way to start out. How did you like come up with that?
I think the idea first kind of hit me when I was seeing Lynn Ramsey's film You Were Never Really Here in theaters, and there's a scene where Joaquin Phoenix's character, like, he's all bloody and he wipes off the blood with some tissues and toilet paper and he throws it in the toilet. And I remember there was a theater full of men watching with me, and there was a big